And welcome back to day 2, where things get a little steeper than what we would like. Stay tuned. All right, so today's plan is to take on a Jeep trail that is about 19.5 miles long of pretty steep terrain, but it could be cool with some great views to be seen. The area that we're about to go into is called Shaffer's Switchbacks, and that should have been enough of a warning right there for me not to go. But we went, and at first it was great. No problems, we're in a Jeep, no issues. The farther we get down there, well, the steeper it gets. And I don't like steep things. As we're driving, we finally come to the first lookout. And I said, hey, let's stop and take a picture. So get out, grab the camera, and of course I reach for my 55 f4. That 55mm. All right, let's do shutter 1000, ISO 100. Let's see what we got here. All right, let's take a few readings here. That sky looks like it's about an F10. There's the brightest, the darkest. There's a 4.5, 4. See an F4. All right, so that gives a 6.3. All right, so 1000. Then an f6.3. I'm gonna shoot it at a 5.6. Overexpose it a little bit. Wow. Pretty cool. Might be cool to get this, yeah, a little plant. A little bit of a plant in the foreground. It's pretty cool. Alright, so let's look at the camera meter. Says it's right on the money. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Nice. I was certain that I got a good exposure on it and didn't feel like I needed to take a second one. I really do love this 55 f4. You know, I'm not bothered that it's an f4. I typically try to shoot it top down, and that helps me A, get everything in focus, and B, I want my images to be sharp, and I know these lenses are very sharp top down. So anyways, I was happy with the first shot and decided, hey, let's move on. We got back in the Jeep and we kept driving, and this was the part that got a little steep. I don't like heights, and as we're driving down there, I mean, it got so steep. I would look out the window and the bank is just right there, and it is straight off cliff almost. These videos and this B-roll that I shot going down doesn't do it justice. If you would have gotten off the road at all, I mean, you're dead. You're gonna roll, I don't even know how far. You know, I didn't take any photos in this part of the trip. Partly was because I didn't really want to stop. I didn't really want to get out and take any pictures there. Just wanted to kind of drive and get to the bottom. As we're going down the road, we met a couple other Jeeps coming up, and that was not fun. They'd have to back up, find a wide spot around a corner. It was just, I didn't feel like taking any photos. I probably could have got a few great photos here, but I was in the mood to get to the bottom in one piece. So now that we're down, we hit that potash road. And as we're driving down the road, I see this really cool rock sticking up against the skyline, and I want to take a picture of it. So I jump out and I switch a lens. I'm now on this guy here, my 75-8, which I love this lens. All right, let's check this out. Switch to lens over to that 75. I'm thinking about spot metering that dark area because the highlights, I don't really want to meter for the highlights. I'd rather have the dark areas be exposed correctly. Let's take a look here. Let's see here, it's saying a 3.2, 4.5, darkest one's 3.2, 1000 at a ISO 100. So 3.2, and I'm probably don't want to put them really in the shadows, so let's just put them like, if I put it at 5.6, that would really put that dark spot in the shadows. So let's go ahead and put it like one stop under middle gray, because I'd rather expose for the shadows, not make anything like super dark. All right, let's see what that looks like. And my internal meter saying it's like a little bit overexposed. After I got the scan back, I was really happy with this shot. I think it looks great. It was actually one of my favorite shots I took. And I didn't do any editing on this photo, so you can see the sky is holding its detail. I like the way it looks. I could have brought the highlights down a little bit, but I chose not to. I thought it looked nice. Another note is I really like the colors of this shot. That Portra 160, I think getting a little extra light there, I think the colors look great. From there, we kept driving, and I remember we got a first look at the river, and it was amazing. So had to stop, had to get out, had to take some photos, look around, and take a little break. So that's what we did. All right, here we go. This looks like a good spot for a shot. It's a little bit of a drop. Oh boy, this is my nightmare. All right, Colorado River. Let's figure out a frame here. Wow, that's awesome. All right, let me get a little closer. Okay, there we go. Don't get too close to that edge. Let's figure out. Actually, I like it back up here a little bit more. Wow. It's just amazing. All right, let's figure this out in exposure. So that Portra 160, I really want to meter it for the shadows so that it's, you know, has a cool look to it. Let's see what we got going on out here. So those cliffs, the shadows on the cliffs are like 3.2, 3.6, 3.2. On the left side to 3.2, 3.2. Lot of 3.2s. So let's go 3.2 as being the darkest. And then let's look at that sky, those clouds up there. There's an F10, that's a 10. 9 on the right, 9. So the top of those, by that cliff, is about the brightest. Those white clouds are about an F10. Average those 5.6, so a 3.2 to 5.6, you get about 2 stops. So that shadow would be really in the darks, which would look great, but it'd be your contrast to your look that I want. And then a 5.6 to that 10 is about, what was it, about almost 2 stops. So it's not super contrasty. So I think, you know, we can put that shadow one stop under middle gray to get a little more detail in it. And that sky is still gonna be, you know, 2.5, 3 stops, which should be perfect, honestly. So let's try that shot. Which should basically be a 5.6. Now when I average it, it came out to be a 5. Well, let's take one out of 5.6. Let's meter one for an average and see what that looks like. Because this is a cool shot. We can spend a couple pieces of film on this one, maybe. All right, here we go. Shutter's 1,000 at a 5.6. Got it. And then I want to meter one to be a little bit brighter. So let's change that shutter to 500. I'll put it at an f8 would be the average, and then we'll just open it up like a half a click. 500 f8. We'll make it just a little bit brighter, so this one's metered for the shadows. All right, let's try this one. This one should be a little airier, little bright and airy look to it. 2, 3. All right, we'll see what that looks like. All right, so at this spot, I really wanted to take a couple exposures because this photo, in my mind, was gonna be important. This was gonna be a really great shot and I didn't wanna mess it up. We got a couple cool photos there. And hey, said let's roll. So jumped back in the Jeep and headed another mile or 2 down Potash Road. And this is, not knowingly at the time, but this was actually Thelma and Louise Point, where they drove the car off into the river. I didn't realize this at the time. Otherwise, we would have definitely drove the Jeep off a cliff into the river, and I would have taken a picture of that. But, you know, I didn't even know it. So, you know, you can't blame me. I'm gonna use a shutter, 500, ISO 100. Let's see here. There's a 6.3, 5.6, 5.6, 6.3. Let's just go ahead and say 5.6. And then we're going to put that one stop under middle gray. So it's going to give us an f8 at ISO 100. And that sky looks like it is 12.7 right above those mountains. I'm seeing a 14, I'm seeing a 16 a little higher up in the white. So let's see where that puts us at. So shutter is at 1/500th. Let's see, 5.6 is the darkest. We're going to put that one under middle gray. So it's going to put us at an f8. And then a 16 is, that's 2 stops over. So that film's got plenty to handle 2 stops over. Definitely like this portrait style. I'm going to move over to the right a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see what the meter on the camera says. It's just a tick under. Let's take one. There we go. Cool. All right, so at this point we have driven down, I don't know, maybe 3 miles from here, and we see a trail kind of taking off to the right. It's pretty steep, and I said, hey, let's do it. So we drove up that trail and we got on top of this little mountain, and we're up on the mountain, and that's where I thought Thelma and Louise Point was. And so I tried to drive the Jeep off the cliff, but it wouldn't let me. So anyways, I ended up taking another photo here. All right, let's see what's going on. This is pretty awesome. Wow. All right. Clear the memory. The sun's like directly overhead, so, but we're getting some cool clouds in the background, so let's see what's going on here. See some F5, F5.6 down by the river, 4.5, 4.5 on the left side, 5. The shadows, where the shadows hit that rock wall. I'm seeing a 5. There's a 4.5 right there. I want some detail on that, so let's put that as the darkest spot. And again, I don't want to make it like really shadowy. I want it to be one step under middle gray. So let's go to 4, 5, 6. All right. I'll shoot that at a 5, 6. Sky, let's see what that sky's doing. 12, 7, 14. That cloud, top of that cloud on the white's a 14. 14. 14. Everywhere there's a 14. We'll hit that. We'll average that. Let's say an F8 as an average. So let's see here. All right, let's shoot this one. Let's try it in ISO 160. Let's see what that looks like. 160. My 5.6 is the darkest, so an F8. F8 will put that right in the zone that I want it to be. So, all right. Got it at a 500th. Set to infinity. This is my last shot at an F8. Let's take a look at that. I'm gonna go vertical. Internal light meter says it's right on the money, maybe just a hair underexposed. As I pointed up towards the sky, it says it's a hair overexposed, so that's good. And my ISO on my camera set at 100, so I feel good about this. Let's shoot one. I really like the clouds. I'm gonna get a little bit of green in the foreground. I want that river kind of right in the center. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna move a hair. There we go. That's better. I'm picky. All right. 2, 3. All right, and that's gonna do it. All in all, it was a great day. It was a 20-mile Jeep ride through some very rough terrain and very steep roads. Went down that crazy switchback, made it out Potash Road, hit the main road, and drove back into Moab. I think it was about a 50-mile round trip, and that was it, really. We went back to the hotel, chilled out, looked around on the map that night, and tried to come up with another game plan for the next day. So, all right, we'll see you on the next one.